ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਾਹਿਨ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਕੈ ਅੰਚਲ ਲਾਭਹੁ ਵਿਖਮ ਨਦੀ ਜਾਇ ਤਰਣੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਰ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ तेरे जोर मैं गूंगा कहता हूँ तेरा सदका तेरी शरण
ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਤਾਣ ਹੋਵੈ ਕਿਸੈ ਤਾਣ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਦਾਤ ਜਾਣੈ ਨੀਸਾਨ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਗੁਣ ਵਡਿਆਈਆ ਚਾਰ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਵਿਖਮ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਸਾਜ ਕਰੇ ਤਨ ਖੇਹ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਜੀਅ ਲੈ ਫਿਰ ਦੇਹ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਜਾਪੈ ਦਿਸੈ ਦੂਰ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਵੇਖੈ ਹਾਦਰਾ ਹਦੂਰ ਕਥਨਾ ਕਥੀ ਨ ਆਵੈ ਟੋਟ ਕਾਤ ਕਾਤ ਕਥੀ ਕੋਟੀ ਕੋਟ ਕੋਟ ਦੇਵਦਾ ਦੇ ਲੈ ਦੇ ਤਕ ਪਾਹੇ ਜੁਗਾ ਜਗੰਤਰ ਖਾਹੀ ਖਾਹੇ ਹੁਕਮੀ ਹੁਕਮ ਚਲਾਏ ਰਾਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਵਿਗਸੈ ਵੇ ਪਰਵਾਹੋ ਗਾਵੈ ਕੋ ਤਾਣ ਹੋਵੈ ਕਿਸੈ ਤਾਣ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਤਿਤ ਪਾਵਨ ਭਗਤ ਵਛਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਖਜ਼ਾਨੇ ਜੋਤ ਸਰੂਪ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਸਾਜੀ ਨਵਾਜੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ we gathered here today to listen to the third body of Sri Japji Sahib. Last time we listened when the Siddhs asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji about to expand the definition of hukam, to explain what hukam is, and Sadguru Sahib Ji explained how the hukam works, how it is linked to our past karma, and how large that hukam, how great that hukam is. At the end of the last body, Sadguru Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji told us that hukam hai andar sab ko, bahar hukam na koe, nanak hukam hai je bujjai ta hum mai kahe na koe, showing that everybody, every person, every being, everything, all the worlds, the galaxy, the universe, all creation is in the hukam of Akal Purkh Waheguru. Nobody is outside of it, And it's those who understand that and realize that they do not ever again speak in ego. They understand that everything is from Waheguru themselves. So after that, this time the Siddhs asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, they said, well, you've explained the hukam, you've showed us how great that is, but the person or the being or Waheguru themselves who gives the hukam, who gives these commands, whose order is taken in this universe, in this creation, how powerful is he? How powerful is that Waheguru? And that's this time's initial question, and Sadhguru Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji answered the Siddhs in this way. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji first of all replied, Gave ko taan hove kisai taan. Gave ko means, if you take it in the first translation, as they explained to the Siddhs, Sadhguru Sahib Ji showed that Gave ko can mean koi, those or who. Gave means to sing, or even to talk about, to discuss, if you want to take it further. Who can sing the praises of Waheguru Sahib Ji's taan? Taan is strength. Bal in Punjabi, that's what they say, so we can take that as being strength, we can take that as being their power, their complete power. Who can sing the praises of the Almighty? Who has the power to sing the praises of the Almighty? Hove kisai taan. That no one can sing those praises because they don't understand how that complete power is. Nobody has that complete power. Hove kisai taan. They don't have that complete power. Nobody has the power of Waheguru Ji. So who can sing the praises of Waheguru Ji's power? So who can sing the praises of their power in terms of their daat, what they give to us? Who can sing those praises? Jane Nisan. Because there's so many of these givings or these daats that Sadhguru Sahib Ji or Waheguru has given us. There is no end to these givings that Waheguru Ji has given us. So who can sing those praises? Who can sing about Sadhguru Sahib Ji's daats? Because those daats, what Sadhguru Sahib Ji gives us is endless. So who can sing those praises? Nobody can sing those praises. So who can sing the praises of Waheguru Ji's gun, Waheguru Ji's virtues, their characteristics, their qualities? Who can sing the praises? Vadiyaya char. Char means sundar or beautiful. Vadiyaya, you can take that as their glory, their excellences. Who can sing those praises of Waheguru Ji's beautiful glories, their virtues, their characteristics, their qualities? Nobody can sing those praises. Who can sing the praises of Waheguru Ji's Vidya, their teachings? Vikham, Vichar. Vikham means hard, difficult. Vichar, their understanding or the contemplation of those hard teachings, those teachings that Waheguru Ji has given us. Who can sing the praises of those difficult teachings and contemplate on those? Nobody can sing, because that power is endless. So no one can sing the praises. Who can sing the praises of how Waheguru Ji Saad makes, kare, tan. Tan means body, ke can mean mitti, or mitti like mud. Who can sing those praises? How Waheguru Ji creates the body from mitti, from mud. No one can sing those praises. How do we know how Sadhguru Sahib Ji creates his creation? Sadhguru Sahib Ji, when they created everything, they created those from 5 elements. Those 5 elements were space, what they call space. If you look at it scientifically, it's called ether. That means like no elements. You know how when you study science, you have the periodic table and all the elements of the world. Every bit of creation has come from these 5 elements, what I'm talking about. And one of those elements is called ether. That's like an anti-element. There's no element, it's emptiness. When you go through the atmosphere into space, there's nothing there. There's no air, there's no water, there's no chemical, there's no element. That is the first element. And then The second element is air itself. So you have air. The third element is water. The fourth element is fire, and the fifth element is the earth. So from those 5 basic elements, creation was created. Our bodies were created. And you might think, well, I can understand how we might have fire in our body. Well, we have fire in our body through our Vishavikar, Kam, Krodh especially. Yeah, fire is generated within that, or when we feel heat inside, that's the fire. We have earth, because our body is made, of mitti. When it's cremated, it joins back, it decomposes its mitti, so that's the earth element. There's obviously water in our bodies, we know that. There's air in our bodies, but what about this space? Nothingness. Where is that in our bodies? Well, behind our ears, this is just one example, behind our ears when sound travels in, there is an area where there is no space. That's where that is in our bodies, and there's many other places. Those 5 tattas, as we say, Panch tatta, the 5 basic elements, are linked to our personal characteristics, and maybe as we go through Japji Sahib, we'll expand on these a little bit more. They're linked to our characteristics, they're linked to how the Panch Chor, the Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Ahankar, the lust, greed, anger, attachment and ego, how they work in our body. Some people have more ego, they have less anger. Some people have more anger, less greed, and vice versa. All different parts of creation have different balances of those 5 Chor. And those Panch Tat link in with those. So if you have more or less of a certain element within ourselves, that is what then determines our characteristics, our subha, in terms of how the Panch Chor affect us. So who knows, who can sing those? How Waheguru how Akal Purkh Waheguru created his creation. No one can sing those praises. Nobody knows the limits of Waheguru's power. So who can sing the praises of how Waheguru put the Ji, the soul, inside our bodies when he created these bodies? Who knows how he does that? And then when he puts that soul in our bodies, how he takes that soul out of our bodies when this life, or this body's life, comes to an end. Ji, the soul, le, fir, deh. Le and fir, put it into our day, put it into our body. Who knows, who can sing those praises of the endless amount of Waheguru's power? No one can sing those praises. So who can sing the praises of how Jape, Dise, Dur, how far Waheguru's power extends to? It's limitless. Nobody can sing those praises, the extent of Waheguru's limitless power. Who can sing those praises? How Vekhe, how they can see Waheguru close to us. We say Waheguru's Hajar Najar, they are with us all the time. But who can sing those praises of how Waheguru works in that way, how he stays with us all the time and protects his creation? Nobody can sing those praises, because Waheguru's power is actually limitless. There's no limit to his power. And the Siddhs asked the question, well, if Waheguru you've just described Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib how Waheguru's power is limitless, but why don't you expand that a little bit further? And what you can tell us, why don't you tell us about how Waheguru's power works then? The power is limitless, we've understood that, but how does that power work through, and how does he work with his creation? So those people can only sing the praises of Waheguru's power, Waheguru's Tan, Hove Kiseh Tan. If they have that power themselves, or if they have felt that power, if they've been protected in their life, we can think Waheguru's power. When we think of power and strength, we might think of a warrior. So we think of a warrior, and we think of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, the King of Kings, and the battles he faced for his Khalsa nation, for the Sikhs, for our chance of living today. We think of a warrior. So those people who have fought those Sikhs who fought in those wars, they can sing those praises. They know the extent of Waheguru's power. Baba Deep Singh Ji knows the extent of Waheguru's power, because they fought with their head in their hand. They did the ardas to Waheguru, and Waheguru showed their power to them, and showed that they could fight continually with that power. The Sahibjade, when they were the Chote Sahibjade, when they were being bricked alive, And when the Vadde Sahibzade were fighting with 125,000 soldiers, as Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji's bachan, Sawa Lakh se ek laraun, tabe Gobind Singh naam kahaun. So Sadguru Sahib Ji gave that power, gave that blessing to those Sahibzade to fight. They understood that power. Only those people can sing and praise the power, the daan, the bal, the strength of Waheguru Ji. Those who have seen that strength in action, or those who have the strength themselves, who have been given the strength. And then in a second way, the power of Waheguru Ji. A warrior is also a warrior within, because we have those panch jod within our minds. Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Hankar. Waheguru Ji has given us the strength to come to the Gurdwara, to partake in sangat, to do seva, to do simran, to do nitnem, to read Bani, to contemplate on that Bani and change our lives, to follow the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Naam Japna, Kirt Karni, Vand Ke Shakna. Those people who have seen that power work on them and have been given that power themselves to do those good actions, they can sing the praises of Waheguru Ji's power. So those people can sing the praises of Waheguru Ji's daats, those givings, those blessings, who jane nisan. Now nisan can be translated first of all pargat, to something, those daats that have been pargat, that we can see, or we can take that further and say nishani, those that we can see, those daats. Jane, to know those. Only those can sing those praises who have been given those blessings, who have been given those daats. We've all been given a daat. We've been given a daat of this life. We've been given this chance of coming into this world as humans to be able to sing the praises of the Lord, the last of the 8.4 million life forms. We've been given that chance. We have been given a daat. Do we understand that daat so we can sing about that? Or do we sing about materialistic daats? Because Waheguru Ji gives those as well. When we buy a big house, when we get a nice car, when we pass our exams, we do come to the Gurdwara and we thank Waheguru Ji. They're daats as well, but they're materialistic. What about thinking about the daats further than that? They've given us a body. They've given us this chance in this human life form to be liberated. And then those of us that understand that and take that further, partake in sangat, partake in simran, partake in seva, they are then given a bigger daat. They are given the daat of what we say in Sikhis, naam and darshan, and being one with Waheguru themselves. And those people who attain that spiritual level, they understand that daat, and only those can sing those praises. So we can only sing the praises of the level of daat, or what we feel we've been given. Those people can sing those praises. How does Sadguru Sahib Ji's daats work? Because Sadguru Sahib Ji gives us materialistic in our lives as well as spiritual. So in the time of Sadguru Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji, there was a Sikh called Baba Adam Ji. Now Baba Adam Ji was very, very old, and they didn't have any children. They were very, very old, and they spent a lot of their life going to various different places. They went to loads of, let's say, in this day and age, we say these Pakhandi Babe. Now when I say use the phrase Pakhandi Babe, I don't mean Gursikhs who join you with Sadguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji or Akal Purkh Waheguru. I mean Pakhandi Babe who are not really Sikhs. They have taken bits of Sikhi, they may have beards, they may have turbans, and they take Sikhs away from the true path, the true teachings of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And he visited many of those. They gave them different mantras and jantras, different words to repeat. Nothing to do with Gurbani. Not joining them with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but joining Baba Adam Ji with themselves. And said, if you do this, I will grant you the boon of a child. And Baba Adam Ji visited many of these kind of people, but still they were not given that precious daat, let's say, that blessing of a family, of a child. And they grew really, really old. So they were in their old age. And then a Sikh from their area told them about Sadguru Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji, who is the giver of everything, the Jot of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the embodiment of Waheguru themselves on this earth at that time, Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji. A Sikh told Baba Adam Ji about Sadguru Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji and took them to see Guru Sahib Ji. The Sikh also said, you will get everything from here. If you do seva, if you do simran, if you complete seva in the langar, Sadguru Sahib Ji will bless you with everything. If you want a child, he will be able to give you a child. But even bigger than that, you will be liberated by coming into the sangat of the Guru, of the true Guru, of the Guru of Kaljug, the Jot of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. So Baba Adam Ji spent many months doing seva in the langar of Sadguru Ramdas Sahib Ji in Amritsar. There came a time in some of the months in India, you get a lot of rain, you get a lot of wind in the monsoon season, and in those days people used to use wood to burn their stoves and make their food, and they have to protect their wood from rain and wind, because then you can't light the wood, you can't light a fire. And many Sikhs households, their wood had become wet with the monsoon season, and Baba Adam Ji had been collecting his wood and his had been dry, and in his heart he felt the teaching of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Vand ke Shakna. So he decided to share his wood out in the families of the Sikhs so they could make their food, they could use that wood for their families. When Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji heard about this, that this Sikh Baba Adam Ji is following the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, they asked the Sikhs of the time to bring Baba Adam Ji to them. So Baba Adam Ji came down Matha Tek to Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji, and Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji was very happy with him. And they asked him, what do you want? Now in Baba Adam Ji's mind, even though he was very old, from a long time, he never had a child. And he, in his mind, was thinking, would Guruji give me a child? Because I have no children. However, he felt ashamed because he was really old. And he had a grey beard. And he felt ashamed, so he couldn't say anything. And he asked, out of his mouth, he asked for Naam, the darshan, for having the darshan forever, having the blessed vision of Waheguru themselves, of being liberated. And Sadguru Ramdas Sahib Ji said, are you sure that's what you want? Because Sadguru Ramdas Sahib Ji is the knower of all. Guruji knows everything that's in our minds. But Baba Adam Ji, still being ashamed from the other Sikhs that were around, said, no, I would like Naam, I'd like to be liberated. I would like the blessed vision of Waheguru. And Sadguru Ramdas Sahib Ji said, you will be blessed. So when Baba Adam Ji went home and spoke to their wife said, you've been blessed today. Did you ask for what we wanted? We've gone to many of these Pakhandi Babe, these dodgy places, and we haven't been blessed with a child. And Baba Adam Ji said, I was ashamed, to ask for that because I'm really old. They decided as a family the next day to go back to Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji and ask for a child, because Bibi Ji said that Guruji is the giver of everything, and we've been here for many months now. We are his Sikhs. He will give us this. Let's just ask him straight out. So the next day they went to Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji and asked Sadguru Sahib Ji for the blessing of a child. And Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji said that in your karam, from your past lives, there was no child written for you. But out of my own, so not out of Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji's own bhakti, out of their own kamai, out of their own power, out of their own strength, they will give you, Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji said, I will give you a child out of my power. That would have been in my lineage. And when you have that child, you will have a son, and you will name that son Pai Bhagtu. And he will be a complete Gursikh, a Puran Gursikh, following the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. Baba Adam Ji in his old age had a child, he named him Pai Bhagtu Ji. Pai Bhagtu Ji is a famous Sikh for the times of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and they lived to the times of Sri Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. So those Sikhs who have been given those blessings, those daats, only they can sing the praises on whatever level of daat they got. So Sadguru Sahib Ji, the teaching for us there is that Sadguru Sahib Ji gives us everything. They give us materialistic things and they give us spiritual gifts as well. So only those Sikhs can sing the praises or the extent of that power of his gifts, who have been given gifts, who have the nishaniya, who have the marks of those gifts, who know, who understand what gifts they've been given. And Sikhs, spiritual Sikhs, they get given the gift of Naam. So they understand they've been given the gift of Naam, and they respect and they sing the praises constantly of Waheguru Ji for the daily gifts that they receive from Waheguru Ji themselves. So those Sikhs can sing the praises of Waheguru who Waheguru Ji's power, their gun, Sat, Santokh, Daya, Dharam, Tiraj, Vichar, these Shobgun as we call them in Punjabi, these good, Uttam, these high qualities, these high characteristics, they can sing those praises because they've been given those high characteristics. They can see those characteristics that within this world we have to have Sat, we have to be truthful, we have to have compassion, we have to have contentment, we have to have faith, we have to be able to contemplate on what is right and what is wrong. Those people sing the praise of Waheguru Ji because they've been given those gifts. They've been given those gifts and they have those characteristics. Because they have the characteristics and they've lived their lives with those characteristics, they can sing those glorious, those beautiful, those char vadiyaiyan. So vadiyaiya char, they can sing those praises of, because they've been given, they have those qualities and they can sing the beautiful glories of Waheguru Ji. And this real deep teaching that of Waheguru Ji as they sent with the 10 Gurus in the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, I translate onto the level of my mind, but the teachings of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji are endless. But those Sikhs who have been blessed, those people who have been blessed with the knowledge of the Vidya, the teachings, the Vikam, the difficult teachings, and contemplate on those, so they understand those difficult teachings that Sadhguru Sahib Ji has given us, those deep teachings that are hard to understand. They contemplate on those and they bring them into their lives and they change their lives for the better. They realize they are humans and this is one and only chance to be liberated, to become one with Waheguru. Those people sing those praises who have started to follow that path, who have taken on those teachings, those difficult teachings, because in society we get taken astray. We look at other people, whether we go to school and whether we are at work, and we look at other people and we start following them. So the teachings are difficult in those ways as well to follow, because we may be the only person in our families even that want to follow the righteous path, and the rest will take us away from that. So those Sikhs, those people who've been blessed with the power of Waheguru Ji, who can understand those difficult teachings and contemplate on those and change their lives, they sing the praises of Waheguru. So those sing those praises, those Sikhs sing those praises, they understand how Waheguru Ji Saaj Kare Tan. So how Waheguru Ji creates the Tan, the body, and then they turn it into clay, they turn it back into mitti. So we've said before that this body is mitti anyway, made from the 5 basic elements. But how Waheguru Ji creates this body and then takes this body away, as this body is, when it's cremated, it goes back into the mitti. They understand that K, we can take that translation further. K can mean falseness. And falseness is like an illusion, that this world is an illusion. That we are here to spend time, we are passers-by, we are travellers in this world, in this body, travelling through, understanding we can travel through this world and attain liberation, attain oneness with Waheguru Ji. Or we can go back into being travellers and constantly in the 8.4 million lives. So those people who understand that and contemplate that and understand that and follow the teachings of Waheguru, as I've said earlier, partake in sangat, do simran, do seva, follow the teachings, they sing the praises of Waheguru Ji. They understand how the body is brought together and then it's, because it's mithya, it's false, it goes back into the mitti at the end when a person dies. They understand how the soul is put into the body, is put into the dehe, and then how the soul is taken away. And if we have been blessed in our lives, the soul is taken away by Gursikhs, by Panch Pyare, by Gurujis themselves. They will come in the form of the Guru. Waheguru Ji will come in that form and take them away at the end of their life and make them one with themselves. Like we've talked about many times, if we think of ourselves as water, it will be mixed back into the ocean, that is Waheguru. So we will be completely one, there will be no difference. So those Sikhs, those people sing those praises who understand that the soul is being given in this life and the soul is travelling and is trying to go back to, this Atma is trying to go back to Paratma, back into that ocean. Those Sikhs, those people sing those praises to see how far, how dur, how far that power is, or how far that power works, that strength works of Waheguru Ji, how they work in this world. Those Sikhs sing those praises.
So
those Sikhs, those people sing those praises who understand that Waheguru Ji is Hajar Najar, who Waheguru Ji is with us all the time, and they work their power, they work their blessings, they give us those darts, they give us those good characteristics, they take away those panch chor, and if we need to use our bodies in a physical form, they will give us that strength to be able to use them. They understand that Waheguru Ji is with us all the time. The Sahibjad, they understood that Waheguru Ji was with them. Baba Deep Singh understood that. Bhai Taru Singh understood that. And even Sikhs who are not necessarily, who didn't go in to Taram Jyodha, who didn't give their Shahidi. Those Sikhs who live their life out at places of work, who follow the Seva, they understand that Guruji is with them all the time, who go through many, many difficulties. Those sing those praises when they understand that Waheguru Ji is protecting them all the time. They understand that Waheguru Ji is with them, Hajar Najar, all the time. So Guru Sahib Ji told the Siddhs, Kathana Kathi, I can keep going forever and ever, expanding on Waheguru Ji's power and how that power works. Na ave tot. There's no end. Na ave tot. There's no end. There's no shortcomings. It doesn't finish. Waheguru Ji's power is endless. I can go on forever and ever.
Kath kathi koti kot kot.
Kath kathi. I can go on forever and ever trying to explain Waheguru Ji's power. Koti kot kot. Now kot is another way of saying crore. Crore is a count, is a number. Crore translates to 10 million. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji says, tens of millions of times I can continually describe Guru Sahib Ji's power, or try to describe Guru Sahib Ji's power, Waheguru Ji's power, and there's no end to that. We can also take this further and translate it. Koti, kot, kot. Why does it come 3 times? Well, if we take kath, kathi, that's 3 times, and koti, kot, kot, and pair each one with the other. So kath, koti, kath, kot, and kathi with kot at the end. If we pair those up, we can pair those up and say, well, tens of millions of times people have tried to describe the power of Waheguru Ji in the past. So the first pair for the past, the second pair for the present. People have tried to describe Sadhguru Sahib Ji's, Waheguru Ji's power in the present, and they will try to describe Waheguru Ji's power in the future, but they will still find no end to Waheguru Ji's power and how they work in our favour, how they created all this creation for us. So the Siddhs then ask the question, well, if Sadhguru Sahib Ji has all that power and he's constantly giving and protecting, then what about his power? Does his power ever run out? That would be a next logical question. We've seen how endless that power is, but will it ever run out? So Sadhguru Sahib Ji replied, Deda de. So Waheguru Ji continually gives. Denda de. He keeps giving. Leng de thak pahe. It's not the giver who gets tired, it's the taker who gets tired. Leng de thak pahe. We will become tired, constantly taking. We'll get tired. We'll get tired in the form our lives will die. Our bodies will die. We will move on to the next life. So we become tired in that way. We become old and tired taking in this life. And then we start again. But the giver, Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji, he never becomes tired. He constantly gives. He is forever giving to his creation. And his creation, Juga Jugantar, the 4 jugs, Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and now in Kaljug. When God created this creation, he created it in the constant cycle of 4 ages. The first being Satyug, the second being Treta, the third being Dwapar, and now in Kaljug, where Sadhguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is the embodiment of Waheguru Ji. So Juga, Jugantar, throughout all those ages and the cycles of all those ages, Kahi, Kahe, we continue to take those gifts, those blessings from the power of Waheguru.
Hukmi hukam chalai raho.
So Hukmi describes Waheguru Ji themselves, the person who gives that hukam. Hukmi chalai raho. Through his hukam, through his command, chalai raho. These paths are given. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji, through his hukam, protects us using his power, putting us on the correct path. The path, he brought us into this human life. He put us on the path of a human life. And then further to that, he brought us to his sangat. In the sangat of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the true message of Waheguru Ji in Kaljug. So through his hukmi, Waheguru themselves has put us on that true path.
ਨਾਨਕ ਵਿਗਸੈ ਵੇ ਪਰਵਾਹ.
And Sadhguru Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, tells the Siddhs and tells us, Vigse Vepar Vaho. Vepar Vaho means Veparva, like we say in Punjabi, carefree. Now you might have a question, if they're carefree, are they not bothered about us? They're carefree in the sense that if we don't follow his command, they are carefree. They don't force us. They leave that onus on us and our karma in this life. Okay, so they put us on the path in this life. Hukam chalaye rao. But Sadhguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says they are veparva, because once we're on the path, if we follow the path or if we don't follow the path, they are carefree. They don't get hurt if we don't follow the path, because the path is down to our karma, and if we do good karma, we will follow perfectly. If we start doing bad karma, then we'll come off that path. So that our master Waheguru Ji is carefree. Vigse means prasann. They're happy and they're carefree. They're happy because it's their creation. It's just like if you think of a child when they're playing with their toys or they're playing in the sand, they are happy, smiling, laughing, playing in their toys. Maybe if they're playing with Lego, they build a house, they take the bricks apart, they build it again, they build something else, they take it apart. Waheguru Sahib Ji is prasanna, they're happy and they're carefree, doing their hukam. And it's down to us to follow that hukam, to understand the hukam and use our karmas that we're collecting now and to put them in the positive way, so we get the chance to be liberated, we get the chance to be one with Waheguru within the life while we are living, and to understand that hukam. So that was Sadhguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji describing to the Siddhs and us taking teachings about the extent of Waheguru Sahib Ji's power. So next time the Siddhs will ask further questions about, they've understood the hukam, they've understood the power now, and they start asking Waheguru Ji, then what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to praise that Lord? And Sadhguru Sahib Ji next time in the fourth body of Sri Japji Sahib will explain what we as Sikhs then have to do, understanding about the hukam, understanding about the power, what is our duty then. This time round, this week, if I've made any mistakes, I'm surely I would have done, like I said many times, I'm only passing on the teachings as what I've been taught. I don't have the complete power. I hope I'm blessed, and all of us are blessed with the Daat of Guru Sikhi, so we can all be liberated within this life. We can all sing the praises. We can all leave this world together, one with Waheguru Ji. And I hope you bless me that week on week I can try and give you the teachings. So bless me that I understand, I have the complete knowledge. I gain that Brahma Gyan, so I can pass that knowledge on to yourselves, and so we can all learn and develop together. Deho sajjanasi shiriyan jo hova sahib se mel.
Hukmi hukum chalaye raho, nanak vigsai ve parvaho. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.